AWG 14 wire is not permitted for pigtailing receptacles under the specific exception outlined in the National Electrical Code, specifically 210.19, A1 Exception 4. This section of the code addresses the allowable ampacity of conductors, and the exception provides a very specific allowance for using a smaller gauge wire for pigtails under particular circumstances. The exception is designed to address practical wiring considerations without compromising safety. In the context of electrical wiring, a pigtail refers to a short length of wire used to connect multiple conductors to a single terminal. For example, when installing a receptacle, it is common to connect the incoming circuit conductors to the receptacle terminals using short lengths of wire, or pigtails. This allows for easier and neater connections, especially when dealing with multiple wires in a crowded electrical box. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, is a widely adopted standard for electrical wiring and installation safety in the United States. It is developed and updated by the National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA, and provides comprehensive guidelines for electrical systems to minimize the risk of fire and electrical shock. Adherence to the NEC is essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of electrical installations. Section 210.19. A1 of the NEC pertains to the ampacity of branch circuit conductors. Ampacity refers to the current carrying capacity of a conductor, measured in amperes, or amps. It is the maximum amount of current a conductor can carry continuously without exceeding its temperature rating. The NEC specifies minimum ampacity requirements for branch circuit conductors to ensure that they can safely handle the intended load. Exception 4 to NEC Section 210.19. A1 provides a specific allowance for using AWG 12 wire as a pigtail in certain situations. However, this allowance is limited to 20 ampere branch circuits that supply receptacle outlets. Furthermore, the branch circuit conductors themselves must be AWG 12 or larger. This means that the main wires feeding the circuit must be at least AWG 12 in size for the exception to apply. The rationale behind this exception is to allow for a more manageable connection to the receptacle terminals while still maintaining adequate ampacity for the overall circuit. AWG 12 wire has a higher ampacity than AWG 14 wire, making it suitable for use in 20 ampere circuits. However, AWG 14 wire is not permitted under this exception because it has a lower ampacity and is not considered safe for use in 20 ampere circuits. To understand why AWG 14 wire is not allowed, it is important to consider the ampacity ratings of different wire gauges. AWG, or American Wire Gauge, is a standardized system for measuring wire diameter. Smaller AWG numbers indicate larger diameter wires, which have higher ampacity ratings. AWG 14 wire typically has an ampacity of around 15 amperes, while AWG 12 wire has an ampacity of around 20 amperes. Using AWG 14 wire in a 20 ampere circuit would exceed its ampacity rating, potentially leading to overheating and fire hazards. The NEC prioritizes safety, and therefore prohibits the use of AWG 14 wire as a pigtail in 20 ampere circuits. In summary, while Exception 4 of NEC Section 210.19 A1 allows for the use of AWG 12 wire as a pigtail in certain 20 ampere branch circuits, it specifically prohibits the use of AWG 14 wire for this purpose. The branch circuit conductors must be AWG 12 or larger for the exception to apply. The rationale behind this rule is to ensure that the wiring can safely handle the intended load without exceeding its ampacity rating. Using the correct wire gauge is essential for electrical safety and compliance with the NEC. When working with electrical wiring, it is always important to consult the NEC and follow all applicable codes and regulations. If you are unsure about any aspect of electrical wiring, it is best to consult with a qualified electrician. Incorrect wiring can be dangerous and can lead to serious consequences. Therefore, it is crucial to take the necessary precautions and ensure that all electrical work is performed safely and correctly. The information provided is for general guidance only and should not be considered a substitute for professional electrical advice. Always consult with a qualified electrician before performing any electrical work. It is also important to note that the electrical codes and regulations can vary depending on the jurisdiction, so it is essential to check with your local authorities to ensure compliance with all applicable requirements. Firstly, understand the NEC code itself. Secondly, consult a licensed electrician. Thirdly, do not attempt electrical work you are not qualified to perform.